Hello everyone, this is In-Game Art with another boxing, another offline product game review. This is Ratchet Clank Rift Apart for the PlayStation 5. To jump right into it, this physical copy here just says it's just the base vanilla version of the game, so the on-disc version is 1.0. Now sadly there was an update available. This update size was 3.6 gigabytes big and will take you to version 1.4.1 since the time making this video. Now, like always, I did play my game completely offline with an unregistered account, and I cannot claim my experience was flawless, but I did 100% complete the game and beat the game, as well as that I was still unlocking trophies and even platinum the game completely offline with the unregistered account. So that was extremely nice. Now, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is a direct sequel to the game Ratchet & Clank Into the Nexus. Now, it is not a direct sequel to the movie game that came out on PlayStation 4, which I fear a lot of people is the only version of Ratchet & Clank they've really sat down and played for newer generation of gamers. So it is a little disappointing that unless you don't know about Ratchet & Clank Into the Nexus that came out on PlayStation 3, the startup of this one can be a little bit odd because they introduce characters, they talk about certain plots and certain segments in the game that, unless you've played the previous games, you're not going to fully grasp it. I was a little disappointed on that, but the game is just phenomenally just gorgeous looking. It's definitely, they're always aiming to improve it upon it to make it more of a Disney Pixar kind of style movie. And I can tell Sony so much wants this to be a movie kind of style game, or in the real, to make a movie or show about Ratchet & Clank. Now, there's nothing truly ultimately different about Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. It plays and functions just like almost every other Ratchet & Clank. It's a little bit more linear path going forward. You constantly buy and get newer weapons. You're constantly upgrading as you use those weapons, and you can get resources to upgrade those weapons to make them better. And then once you get to a certain level, you can get like a massive bonus extra damage increase and stuff like that to each weapon. So you try to constantly try to find what kind of weapons is your preferred style of playing. But overall, the mechanics work almost identical to that of the game movie version of the game. So it's pretty pick up and just play. I mean, if you just played that one like I just did, coming into this one wasn't anything different other than just graphic and the game's running perfectly smoothly at 60 frames per second. Now, to go into some of the issues I had, like I said, I did 100% complete the game, and I fully enjoyed the game on the highest difficulty. But I did have some micro stuttering here and there from the frame rates and stuff. Nothing major, but it was noticeable. As well as I did have some graphical issues like graphics and shadowing, doing some flickering and little distortions here and there. Nothing serious, but it was there. Now those are the minor ones. Some of the bigger ones I did have was that I did find myself getting trapped in a falling animation, getting stuck between like rocks or boxes and stuff like that. So be very careful. Now thankfully I never got stuck completely where I had to reload from last checkpoint, but I can see it happening. So be very mindful where you're jumping if you do not want to reset to the last checkpoint. As well as that, I did have the game crash twice on me, only during the combat arena. I never had a crash during a cutscene or normal gameplay. As well as that, there is a weapon in the game called I believe the Black Hole Gauntlet Gun. It might be not exactly the name, but it's pretty close. Every weapon has like a preview you can watch, and it has Zurgon Jr. doing a description of the weapon and how it works and functions. But every time I played that preview video, the game wasn't necessarily locking up, but the video would lock up and would not continue, and I could not exit out of the video because it's not finishing. The only way I was able to get out of the preview was that I had to hit start and reload last checkpoint. So there's clearly some bug or issue with the preview video of that gun. So just keep that in mind if you're not wanting to revert to last checkpoint. Do not watch the preview video of that gun. It never happened to any other gun, only the Black Hole Gauntlet gun. Other than that, everything else ran relatively smoothly. I can't think of any other issues I've had. Just maybe some minor stuff that I'm maybe forgetting, but overall the experience was pretty darn flawless. And for offline and not having the 3.6 gigabyte update, overall the game was enjoyable and I did not have any issues, and highly recommend it from the offline experience. In the end, it was still a lot of fun. At this time I'm making this video, probably Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is my most favorite PS5 kind of only title that's from PlayStation Studios. So I really recommend the game if you really enjoy these kind of functions and mechanics in these kinds of games. Story is still phenomenal. Newer characters that they introduce are extremely wonderful. I love every newer character. I did find Zurgon Jr.'s enthusiasm and childishness to be extremely annoying, and over time his voice just really started getting really irritating to hear. So that was the only character I wish they kind of toned down or made sure not to have so much focus on that character. But every other character, the female character Rivet, is a phenomenal addition to the game. It's just, I love her a lot. I love the new robot buddy Kid, and I Clank and Ratchet. Though disappointingly the story isn't that great in terms of like improving upon the mechanics of introducing the characters. It just feels like a rehash of just chaos going on. And I did feel a little disappointed that, though it's games like about friendship, about Clank and Ratchet, I did find it a little weird in the progression in this game that Clank doesn't seem like he does as much as he did in previous games. Like when you got upgrades, Clank usually got like a jetpack or fan blades or some kind of functionality that improved him upon with your main character Ratchet. It didn't seem to happen as much in this game, where I was constantly like, what did Clank really do other than his special little puzzle moments in the game? I don't know very much in traversal, environment, and progression that Clank or Kit really do much of anything. I don't know, maybe I work like that in the older games, and I'm just forgetting because it's been a long time since I've played the PS3 and PS2 games. It's just what I remember from playing the movie one, where Clank had a lot more involvement in my traversal than in this game. Anyway, for me anyway. Overall, the game was still phenomenal. I still love this game. I still recommend it. At the time of making this video, this is probably my most favorite PlayStation Studio that's only available on PlayStation 5. Probably my most favorite game all time right now on PlayStation 5 is the Rift Breaker, but this game was still phenomenal. The game ran smooth, I had no issues other than those few things I talked about, and I 100% recommend this game for an offline experience. You won't go wrong with it. Tons of fun, the game's graphics and style. Music is a little but I mean, there's so much chaos going on, music gets kind of covered up, so I kind of get why music wasn't 100% focused. But overall, I think Ratchet & Clank is still a phenomenal IP, and I still love the progression, the mechanics, and how it all works, though I do think that Sony is kind of sitting on a sleeper hit here. I think that instead of focus so much on trying to make it a Pixar Disney movie, I think if they explore it a little bit more, make the world a little bit bigger in exploration, a lot more functionality and like abilities you can get, then you can make some amazing, interesting world you can create. Something like, I don't want to say it, but kind of do the Breath of the Wild treatment, where you get this big world, not as big as like Breath of the Wild, but like you get maybe 5 worlds, and each one of them are ginormous, and you gotta use all these weapons and abilities to progress and unlock hidden ancient tombs and stuff like that, and puzzles and stuff, instead of just focus on this more linear movie style, which, again, I'm not saying they shouldn't make it like that, but I think there's something more that can be done with Ratchet & Clank than just constantly trying to be a Pixar Disney movie. But that's my personal taste. Maybe you disagree, you love it to be like this, and that's perfectly fine. So like always, I will try to leave links down in the description if you're instant copy. I've already made my 2 cents. It's well worth to pick up a physical copy, even for an offline, unregistered experience. No issues, 100% completed the game, even Platinum did. So had a blast with this game, and then I definitely was hard for me to put it down because I really wanted to run through it all over again. So again, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope this video helped you for your offline experience, and in the future if you're curious of how the game runs with an offline consoles. I'll see you guys in the next unboxing video. Bye bye!